While Nike bleeds 30% in stock value and fashion brands crumble under TikTok's 48-hour trend cycles, the ugliest shoe ever made just posted $4.1 billion in revenue. Fashion moves faster than ever. Shein drops 6,000 new items daily. Temu floods the market with knockoffs before trends can breathe. And the biggest names are crumbling. The Yeezy Adidas partnership that generated $2 billion annually? Dead. Jordan Brand is losing cultural relevance with younger consumers. Yet somehow, Crocs keeps winning. They went from nearly bankrupt in 2008 to becoming one of the most profitable footwear brands in the world. While fashion brands desperately chase fleeting trends, Crocs built something different. They didn't just survive the trend cycle, they made themselves immune to it. How? 3 strategies that most brands are too afraid to try. Most people think Crocs got lucky. That's exactly wrong. Crocs stopped being a shoe company years ago. They became a platform disguised as footwear. The breakthrough? Those little charms you stick in the holes. They're called gibbets. And here's the thing. A mom invented them at home, selling them on eBay. When Crocs saw the potential, they bought her company for $10 million. Best investment they ever made. Here's the genius. 75% of Crocs customers buy gibbets. That generated $271 million in additional revenue last year. But the real value isn't the money, it's the psychology. When you buy regular shoes, you're done. When you buy Crocs, you just started. You need charms for your mood, your interests, your personality. Kids collect them like trading cards. Adults coordinate them with outfits. Teenagers use them to signal group membership. Crocs turned their customers into designers. Instead of hiring expensive design teams to predict what people want, they gave people the tools to create what they want. One base product, unlimited variations. Think about the economics. Nike has to guess which colorways will sell. Crocs just makes holes and lets customers fill them however they want. Zero inventory risk, infinite customization. And once you've invested in a collection of gibbets, you're locked in. Your charms won't fit other shoes. Your investment becomes worthless elsewhere. You're stuck in the ecosystem, and you're happy about it. Watch how this plays out. A parent buys their kid basic Crocs for $50. 6 months later, the family has spent $200 on Disney charms, sports charms, glow-in-the-dark charms. Each purchase felt like a choice, not a trap. The platform strategy also solved Crocs' biggest weakness: fashion fatigue. Traditional shoes go out of style, platforms evolve. When customers get bored, they don't buy new shoes. They buy new charms. The base product stays relevant because the expression layer constantly refreshes. This is why Crocs can partner with anyone, from Disney to Bad Bunny to local artists. Each collaboration isn't a risky new shoe launch. It's just new content for the platform. Limited edition charms create urgency without inventory nightmares. Crocs weaponized their biggest weakness, those holes everyone mocked, and turn them into connection points for an entire ecosystem. Customers don't just wear Crocs, they curate them. But building a platform was just step one. Crocs had a bigger problem. Everyone thought they were hideous. Most brands live in terror of being called ugly. They spend millions on focus groups, hire celebrity designers, chase aesthetic trends. Crocs did the opposite. They embraced ugly as their superpower. When everyone calls your product ugly, you have 2 choices: fight the perception or own it completely. Fighting means you're always defending, always reactive. Owning it means you control the narrative. Crocs chose ownership, and it changed everything. In 2017, they launched Come As You Are, a campaign that didn't try to convince people Crocs were beautiful. It celebrated the fact that they weren't. The campaign moved Crocs from the 30th most popular footwear brand to 7th among teens in just 2 years. Over 3.7 million people reached, 792,000 engagements. But more importantly, it shifted the psychological framework. Suddenly, Wearing Crocs wasn't about making a fashion mistake. It was about making a statement. You weren't a victim of bad taste. You were a rebel against conventional taste. Here's what happened psychologically. Crocs stopped playing defense. Once they accepted being ugly, critics had nothing left to attack. Every insult just proved their point. They turned vulnerability into armor. Then came the celebrity collaborations, but not as traditional endorsements, as cultural validation. When Post Malone releases limited edition Crocs, he's not saying they're beautiful, he's saying they're cool because they're ugly. The Balenciaga collaboration was the ultimate power move. A luxury fashion house charging $850 for platform Crocs. Fashion critics lost their minds. Every outraged article was free publicity that reinforced the message. Crocs are so confident in their ugliness, even high fashion can't resist them. Bad Bunny's collaborations sold out in minutes. Not because he made Crocs beautiful, but because he made ugly aspirational. His fans weren't buying shoes. They were buying membership in a club that doesn't care what fashion gatekeepers think. This created something unprecedented: cultural immunity. Traditional fashion brands are vulnerable to shifts in taste, changes in trends, and criticism from influencers. Crocs built a brand identity that actually gets stronger when attacked. The criticism became part of the brand's story. Buying Crocs became an act of rebellion, not conformity. Wearing them became a signal that you're confident enough to ignore conventional wisdom. Look at Croctober 2023, their month-long celebration of fan creativity. They launched the cowboy boot that fans had been begging for on social media. The result? 98 million impressions, 8 million engagements, 6.3 billion media impressions. The boot sold out in an hour globally. This is how you build immunity to trend cycles. Trends are about fitting in, following the crowd, meeting expectations. Crocs position themselves as the opposite, standing out, leading the crowd, defying expectations. While other brands chase approval, Crocs built a business model around not needing it. They turned criticism into content, mockery into marketing, and ugly into unforgettable. That's not just marketing. That's psychological warfare against the entire fashion industry. But cultural relevance means nothing without the numbers to prove it. All the cultural positioning and platform strategy means nothing without financial performance to back it up. And Crocs' numbers tell the story of a company that didn't just get lucky. They built a profit machine. Operating margins jumped from 17% to 30% over 5 years. That's transformation, not luck. The key? Direct-to-consumer. Today, 52% of sales flow through channels they control, versus 48% through retail partners. This isn't just about margins, it's about control. They know exactly which gibbets sell best with which clog colors. They test new collaborations without risking retailer relationships. They adjust pricing in real time based on demand. Manufacturing strategy shows the same disciplined thinking. Their supply chain spans Vietnam, China, and Indonesia, not just for cost savings, but for risk management and market proximity. China strategy? Brilliant. China represents a $20 billion casual footwear market by 2025. But Crocs isn't just selling American products to Chinese consumers. They're creating China-specific products, partnerships, and campaigns. The Pop Mart collaboration wasn't just retail, it was market research disguised as a partnership. The Hey Dude acquisition for $2.5 billion proved they're thinking beyond clogs. Same platform strategy, same direct-to-consumer focus, different aesthetic. It's proof the model works beyond the original product. Asia growth targets tell the real story. 20% annual growth projected. These aren't hope and pray numbers. They're backed by infrastructure investments, local partnerships, and market-specific product development. The inventory model creates different dynamics. Base clogs have consistent year-round demand. Gibbets have higher margins and lower inventory risk. Collaborations create artificial scarcity that drives full-price sales. Crocs responds to what customers actually buy instead of guessing what they might want. Revenue grew from $1.4 billion in 2019 to $4.1 billion in 2024. But growth without profitability means nothing. Crocs delivered both, expanding margins while scaling globally. This isn't a fashion company that got lucky with a trend. This is a technology company that happens to make shoes. They built systems for customization, platforms for expression, and infrastructure for global scale. That's how you build a $4 billion empire from the ugliest shoe ever made. Find what makes you vulnerable and weaponize it. If this was valuable, drop a like and hit subscribe for more deep dives like this.